Greetings, everyone. This is Joanna, and it is 4:44 on Friday, the 21st, 02/2020. And number synchronicities have been so profound. And today is the new moon. They call this new moon the ability for us to release deep karmic wounds and negativity, karmic energies, and it being in retrograde allows us to obviously, when we're in retrograde, to feel the energies of what was and make it into a new beginning of fifth dimensional perspective and mastery. And so this is a beautiful opportunity to take some time. And if you so desire, if it's exciting for you and you're having things that you're kind of dealing with and moving through, to really create, like a really short, honor to spirit, to Gaia, to anybody that you so desire, so that you can feel the energies of these 100 healers. And these 100 healers are heavenly masters that you call upon specifically for this new moon, that helps you call in the extra additional help to help you release those energies that have been feeling as if they're kind of keep pulling you back into the 3D matrix. And we all feel that, don't we? Especially with karmic energies. But we do have the additional help today. So today and tomorrow, set some time aside to be with Gaia, to connect with Gaia. More and more of our recordings will have the inclusion of the Gaia energies that I connect with, the spirits and the shamans of inner and outer earth. And I will be creating videos. My team's and source creator today's was really empowering me to really come forward with more authentic offering, because usually when I'm doing my own co-creation with the fields, besides our mastery classes, there actually is a lot of movement and there's a lot of singing and playing. And so it's time that we begin co-creating in this fifth dimensional reality. And it's not like anything that anybody is doing out there. And so I've had a lot of trepidation in not offering it. But it's a lot of fun that we can put into the fields. And that's how we're co-creating these, reaching in and grabbing, vibrationally pulling in those energies to co-create in this now moment. And I've had a beautiful synchronicity with Gaia. And so I want to share those energies. I want to share those energies of co-creating with her and how we co-create within the universal energies of source within us. So there's a lot to share with these fields and co-creations. So I'm going to start those videos, and I might have to set up the cameras differently so that I can stand and show people how we can move and really have a lot of fun. What I found with these playful videos is that the first most important is they really increase your vibration by moving and allowing yourself to feel the allness with source living through you. And then secondly, what it does is it allows you to vibrationally tune into not only the play factor, the joy factor, and the childlike, the childlike innocence that we have as children, but to truly tune into the fields that you're co-creating within and feeling your connection and your entanglement with Gaia. And so there's so many things that I probably can't put into words because they're multidimensional, but they co-create on many different levels and facets of who we are becoming. And we really need to have, those leaders in the forefront that are continually pushing us outside the boxes of what we've always thought Earth reality to be. And I'm one of those beings that connects with sounds and tones and movement and play and all of those things. Being a crystal child, I can now begin to start playing and offering them here for the human, for those who so desire, obviously, if you're not attracted to it. But they will be ways that will create not only great healing, releasing of negative energies, getting in touch with your multidimensional chakra systems, as I've posted on our Facebook today. I had a healing, and I felt and I've known this for many years, that we hold a lot of fear in our chakras when they're ready to be released. And fear, when we hold on to fear, they're held in certain chakras, and the knees are one of the main portals that we hold fear in. Because it allows us movement, and the body intrinsically as an anthropological being, the movement about the planet, especially those that are empaths, that have had many lifetimes here can feel the grids and can feel different placements on the land. Those fear energies run up from the soles of our feet through the chakras of our feet and into the knees. And so the knees are an aspect and a portal chakra that we pay attention to when we're clearing. And because of the awakening and the attunements that I'm able to sense and feel, I can feel the fear just running out of my chakras and then into the soup of source. And so when we're doing clearing work and we're doing in private intuitive sessions, those are things that empaths can tune into so that we can tell where the blockages are, where the fears are held within, and we can do clearing on them. And so it's just good to know that these movement and these things that we're going to be offering will be, really connecting with the multidimensional body in a playful way, just to continue the rebalancing, the clearing and the cleansing, the purification, as we stretch out and we reach out, especially in times of this retrograde, has really been felt by a lot of people, really clearing a lot of dense karmic energy, And what's really important, I will make a separate video on this, is neutrality is really, really key to start practicing. Neutrality, and if you feel like coming on and making a comment, Cluedo, that's wonderful too. Like, don't feel as if you're not a part of this. I offered you a special invite because you signed up for our class today. So thank you, sweetheart. So a part of what's really important that I've been learning, and I'm offering all of these as things that I've been learning through my attunements and through my master, is the neutrality. And neutrality is really, really important, that we understand that we are like this, this crystal bowl. We're an open vessel of source. And the open vessel of source holds everything in neutrality, in that when the energies are being offered through you, because you'll be able to feel them and sense them more often. As your body's heightened, as you release and clear, you'll be able to sense things, or you'll get that karmic trigger to say it doesn't matter, release it, whatever is going on in that moment, because each and every one of us move through different phases and different cycles. So in this open vessel and vase of all that we are the direction of source energy. And I'll explain this in a different video, because it's a different ascension video that I really want to bring more greater profundity to. But source was showing me today that we are a beautiful fluidic oneness. And it's the first time that I felt this. I feel it when I'm doing my movement, but I was with source when I was doing this in an active state of co-creation, which has been different than other times. And I was allowed to see that in holding that neutrality space, I opened the vessel, as we've talked about in our last ascension video, that opening and simply allowing allows you for that greater potentiality of what can be. Just like I offered in my Japan videos, when I that second day, I let go of my agenda, my itinerary. My teams were saying, you don't have to prepare, what you're doing, just go. And that left the door wide open for what can be. And it's really, really a practiced mastery tool that for many of us old souls, we are so closed in on the fear and the control of self-preservation and safety, that to live in this open state of vestibule is so different. And I've done it at stages, but now I'm being shown that this is how it will be. So the sooner we get used to it, the easier our ride will be. And it truly is the surrender to your soul, asking your soul to live through you. And this is a mastery class video, really. Asking the soul to live through you, and you become this open vessel of source in a neutral space. And then you feel the beauty, and you feel all of these beautiful energies as source with you. You'll feel it. It's an alchemic frequency. You'll feel it. Then you get to choose when you're co-creating that energy. Remember, we've talking about that center point being your infinity, you're going out. So whatever is coming in is most likely, depending on what you're co-creating and what you're moving through, some of these energies might be negative. And so what the old body used to do is just clamp down, control, feed it positive affirmations, do all of these control things. But what we're learning now is to open, be this neutral state, and understand that whatever we're resisting or whatever we're thinking is not ours, we're saying, yes, it's a part of the all. Yes, it's a choice that can be had. I'm not resisting this any longer, and I'm choosing my positivity. I'm choosing what I want to choose. So this is the part about being that open vessel of unity consciousness that we are each having to learn. and remaster. And it's once you get through that empowerment, once you get through, because your soul is going to test you. Anything that you have in your karma, in your Akash, in your soul's blueprint to transcend will come through, because that's what your soul and higher self are doing. They're calling things in through your fears, through your old beliefs, whatever it is that you're here to heal. So that you can walk around as this open vessel of complete neutrality and co-creating in love with Creator. We say neutrality because there's always going to be that time where you're receiving information. So to be in that neutral state, we can receive that as neutral, and then we choose, right? As opposed to always being on defense and having to, protect and all that kind of stuff that we've been doing for eons. So it's this neutrality is a powerful, powerful tool that really, really allows you to claim your power. Claim that empowerment through your solar plexus, because your solar plexus wants to be open and fluid, because that solar plexus and your sacral are co-creating with source. And if it's clamped down, nothing's going to get through. And that's what it feels like. Constantly in control, and you're so exhausted all the time because you're feeling and sensing all of these collective energies, your Akashic energies, all these things you're here to transcend. So what you can do is say, today I will claim my oneness with source. My soul is with me. I invite my soul forward. How may I move forward in this day as my complete soul, whole essence? I know exactly what I'm doing. I have all the skills to face every fear, no matter how dark and dense it might seem. Then when that situation comes to you, then you stand and face it with neutrality. You're one with source. It's a choice. You're source. I choose to go this way. And then you direct through your direction of your energy, your excitement, your creative joys, your whatever it is that you are as a sovereign Christed being. So facing everything with neutrality of source, it opens up that whole, releasing every single burden you've ever carried. It just releases it. Then you claim that power. Wow, that was easy. And then all that stress that you've had about, blocking those thoughts or blocking all of those things that come up. And the more you block it and resist it, the more it's going to call in, because you're resisting it. You're saying it doesn't matter with me. And what we're here learning is unity consciousness. Everything is us. So the more that we repel it, the more it comes to us. So it's really, really important to live as this open fluid. And I'm going to create, hopefully, daily morning videos, so that these morning videos can help get everybody, those that are excited, to really practicing mastery, so that we're not walking around constantly feeling as if we have to repel everything and block and cut everything out, because that's not fifth dimensional living. It just isn't. And it doesn't feel very good. I've been there, been everywhere. I've been everywhere, man. But it's been a profound thing. And my teams just keep saying, just surrender. But we're here. We just surrender. You don't have to be, all stressing out. Just relax. And I'm just like, but am I safe? Am I really safe? Yeah, you're one with God, man. You got it all. You got it going on. So really, really, neutrality is this huge, massive awakening tool. And it's hard to practice. It really, really is, especially with those that push your buttons, and this is the whole Ascension Mastery video that I'm going to offer, and to practice it daily. And those that push your buttons are those exact ones that mirror to you the exact stretching of your consciousness, because you can feel it at your center of your soul is right here. You can feel your consciousness stretch. Your consciousness wants to stretch to open up into that acceptance, that compassion, that love, especially with those that push your buttons. So offering it and entering it into neutrality, then that's we're source, we're one. I might not choose that, and I can choose not to choose that, but I'm not repelling you and resisting you. It's unity consciousness. You offer that whole campus of love, of neutrality to that person, which opens up the playing field for their healing and your healing together. So whatever you are threading together in your all, because everybody you meet, you're threading. So what are you threading? Resistance, repelling, or are you threading an open, neutral state where anything can happen as source? That is so, so powerful. I cannot say that enough. And so we'll go into our shamanic reading today. I'm going to do 3 videos tonight. And they're going to be Gaia-focused energies. I've called in the shamanic energies. I've called in all of the teams and those that are assisting us. We're going to be doing some different cards and different readings. This one is the willow. It's a very pretty tree. I like that. I don't think we've ever had that one. And the black elder. And the story's coming off. Thank you. And this is the oracle of the trees. And we've got some beautiful animal tarot. I'm using different decks tonight because I am stepping into a new cycle of expansion. And some of these decks allow me to express myself in a new way. As I said before, I usually grab different decks based on what I'm going through. Oh, this one's no, pardon me. This one's no surprise. The stag spirit, take your lead. And that's what I'm practicing right now, is being a leader and stepping into my power. Know your worth. Oh my gosh, these cards are so pivotal right now to what we just talked about. And I'm using one of my very favorite decks when I go to and do land travels and I do shamanic work on the land. I take this deck with me. And this is called the Mayan Oracle, and it's one of my very favorite decks, and it's light language. So the energies offered in here are light language. And I take this deck with me everywhere I go. As you can see, it's really worn. We're going to pull 2 cards. Ooh, beautiful. Wow. This is light language, and there's sounds. Hi. Hi. Wow, let's measure. We were talking about that earlier this week too. And we're going to grab one from my Sacred Rebel deck. Happy new moon. Wow. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up, people. Cannot make this stuff up. The Sacred Fool. And our final deck will be, this is the Ask an Angel guidebook. I love this. It's got beautiful artwork on it. One card from here. Wow, look at that. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh, passion. So you can see all those cards. So let's dig in with let's dig in. We've got the willow here first. And 36. This is so perfect. This is what we were just talking about. The willow. This is yeah, I see your comment. We're gonna talk about that because I've been going through that as well. The willow is all about harmony. My roots spread far and wide, and they allow you to enjoy harmony within your life and all around you. Show your respect for all forms of life, which can help you build deep and lasting relationships with everyone and everything. Spread harmony and understanding and treat others in the way that you want to be treated. So that's so perfect. And so what we were talking about here in the experiences that I've experienced throughout my life with so many difficult relationships and always being the giver as the light worker and empath that I am, trying to heal everybody's situations and trying to be the light in everyone's life and solve everything for everyone that many light workers experience, not just me, but I'm giving this as an experience as to the crystal child coming forward in different forms of dysfunction and so on. Various relationships that are not that teach us to be that expansive consciousness that we are. We move into relationships so that we can find that inner harmony in that song within us that shows us that unconditional acceptance of everybody as source. They perhaps might not have the same perspective or awareness or movement about life, but the more that we separate ourselves from that relationship as far as a judgment or a protection or some sort of anything that we put barriers against in any way, whether it's, and this is where we've talked about the subtle body before. The subtle body shows you that if you have a judgment or a belief about someone, anything that is, it doesn't matter how it resonates, it will return back to you in that subtle body energy. So regardless of what is going on in the experience, we build our fifth dimensional mastery consciousness by allowing it to simply be all that it is and offering that unconditional neutrality that is source as the option of source. It's a choice of source. It's source energy, allowing it that most expansive energy that we can offer as neutrality and acceptance for who it is and what it is as source. Therefore, allowing it to move on its path and be all that it can be. Because as we keep resisting and as we keep judging and as we keep dismantling it based on their beliefs and our beliefs and their beliefs and our beliefs, that's not fair, this is fair, whatever it might be. And they're all very valid. It's a valid experience. I've been in that exact situation that you were talking about. And I've seen the co-creation of my judgments, and it causes even more fear and disruption. So it's really important to pay attention and come to that neutral state of co-creation in every day, and to work with that neutral state every day to say, I honor you, I accept you, I hold you in the most higher source. Whether what they're doing is acceptable to you or not, or your choice or not, that's not. We're growing in harmony to allow everything to be source. As we allow it, we can still say, that's not my choice, that's your choice, but I can choose to be a sovereign being and choose this way. That's how we grow in empowerment, and our roots get long and sturdy. And we're respecting them for their path and how they choose to move about their soul's agreement, because we have no idea how their souls are learning and what their higher self is giving them to learn from. From the higher self perspective, of course, they as this leaf here and you as the tree, their soul is giving them this experience so that they can open up into unconditional love, which is what we are mirroring to them. They don't have to. So the growth and the unconditional mastery that you learn is forgiveness, is to forgive every deed, thought, word, and deed, every single time something comes up. If it's an email or a text or anything that comes up, then to say that I can stand in my sovereignty. I can choose to say, this doesn't work for me anymore, and I choose not to entangle in this type of a relationship, and I choose to go this way. But to honor it for all that it is. You don't have to accept it and go with it, but you can always say that that's not what I choose anymore, but I as a neutral energy, your source, and I hold you in the most high, but I'm going to go this way now and not be a part of whatever this is being offered. So that's how we build true self-sovereignty. We're allowing all energy to be a part of the unity consciousness that we have all co-created. Because in any way that we judge, and I've felt this and I've seen it and I've experienced it in every multidimensional level. I have. I'm speaking from truth and fact. And everybody's experience of this, as their bodies open, as their skills open, as their gifts open, will be different. But any judgment that you hold about anyone or anything will come back and experience it in a different way. And that will be the co-creation of your relationships. So it's far easier now to step into that neutral state and hold everybody as sovereign source beings of light. However they choose to move about their life is their choice, but you can choose to step away from it and say, I choose not to be a part of that anymore. It doesn't feel good to me. That's your sovereign right. But not to judge it, not to demean it or demoralize it, because it's not within our purview of what might be right or wrong or being ill-treated. Their karmic story will play however it will. So there's nothing that the soul will ever, nothing gets past the soul as far as soul growth, and it will have to be learned. Perhaps the lesson that leaf needed to see from you is that unconditional love, and that walking away and saying, I can choose not to be a part of this. So that they get your vibration of forgiveness. I forgive you unconditionally for everything that I've been through, and this is how it's hurt me. You speak your truth in kindness and compassion, but then you have that sovereign free will to walk away and not be a part of it. And this is what the harmony is. It's meaning that every single aspect of the tree has its unique purpose in reflection and in grounding to expansiveness, because this is what the trunk really does. The trunk grounds all of the energies and the wisdoms, because the trunk holds the wisdom of the tree. The leaves are the expansive growth of the wisdoms of the tree. And if you cut the tree down, you'll see the rings of everything that's been held in the tree, and the energies and the stories are held within the tree. So this is the part that we are being asked to become, is how can we create unconditional harmonic resonance with everything that comes across our path? It's coming to us for a reason. It's reflecting to us where we still hold judgment in some way that says, that's not okay, I'm a victim. Because we've all are healing victimization in every single manner, because we are all healing, and it doesn't sound good for the soul and the ego, but it's what we are all healing to do, and we can't heal it unless we own it and acknowledge it at the very subtlest level, because I can feel it at the subtlest level. And I have to call myself back and say, wow, I did hold that belief because it didn't feel right for me energetically. And this is the really beautiful, it's really beautiful that we bring this forward in a way that's allowing and honoring of who we are as multidimensional beings. This is why I'm saying it, and sometimes it sounds a bit blunt, but it's the only way that we can explain it, so that everything is on the table and there's nothing being held back. It's all transparent. In those situations where I've had my bodies are so turned on that I feel the experience of energy not feeling nice to me, and then that becomes a judgment. So what we have to do as masters is we have to become neutral. The body will alert you, the body will show you, and then you get to choose from that higher self perspective, because neutrality allows you to do that. Neutrality allows you to stand high, to see the whole playing field, to say, well, this is why this person's coming to me. I still hold a belief here. There's still a belief here that shows me that I was protecting myself against energies that don't feel like me. Well, this is what we're here to do on this earth. We are all here as awakened ones to bring the vibration of everyone else up and open the consciousness through our unconditional love, compassion, and forgiveness. So for us to do that, we have to start from a neutral playing field, not from one that's always defensive because the energies don't feel comfortable. So it's really about bringing these mastery level energies and practicing them every day, so that we do create harmony with everything in our existence, because there will be a point in which all of the energies that entangle with us will be of harmony, because we've practiced this neutrality of allowing life to live through us, and nothing will be needing to be repelled, because we're source. We get it. We get the oneness. We get that unity consciousness. We're learning through those lessons, and you're offering them the greatest help that you can as shining your light through unconditional forgiveness and acceptance, but then also standing in your power to speak your truth in a kind and compassionate way, and choose not to be a part of it, because you don't have to. And you could also reflect that to them about standing in your power and speaking your truth, but also accepting them for them as source. But you don't have to agree or be a part of that energy play. And this is the part of mastery that every single person is practicing, because we must. Because at every level, each and every one of us are helping one another. We really are. We're helping one another heal. And we can't do it without it. We can't just say, well, everybody that's awake to be over there and everybody that's not awake over here. It is a constant threading, and that's what separation has brought us to so many eons. So it's about really creating from that masterful point of view. And it does feel so much empowering when you practice it. It really does. Trust me, I've felt the pains of being highly awake and highly turned on multidimensionally, and it's not comfortable. But it's also about, it's not comfortable because there's still beliefs that hold separation. And that's when the fear comes in about safety. You're not safe, or victim, and all that kind of stuff. And which is very valid. It's part of the experience, and it's honoring the Akash. I honor the Akash where that lifetime was cut short. I honor all of these energies that are showing me that I'm a vast, beautiful, emotional being. But it's time to heal this now. I don't want to feel sad anymore or on defense anymore. I want to heal this. And that's where your daily self-care and your honoring and loving of yourself, to know that, wow, I've been through so much. And those are those self-love sessions with Source, that you go into that higher self right? You get that higher self perspective and say, I'm done feeling as if I've got to be on the defense about this. And powerful lessons. And so this next one is Kampur. Kampur, and this is what we were just talking about, is you gain clarity. This is all about clarity. Set aside some time to be by yourself and then practice some slow and steady breathing. And it will help you clear your mind and create an idea of where the difficulties are, so that you can ease into a greater understanding and gain greater clarity. So to see things from a clear point of view, without the emotion and the pain involved in it, and that's seeing things again from that neutral state. So allowing yourself to rise in neutrality, to say, okay, how is this playing out for everybody in this circle here? Because it's not feeling good to me. So how can I rise? Release the emotion, release what's going on emotionally, and say, okay, I detach from the emotion, I detach from the story, I detach from the players. Now what's really going on? And then you can see where harmony comes in and where your clarity comes in, because perhaps this one aspect of the picture is not really what's going on. What's really going on are these beautiful little butterflies and these ladybugs that are in here creating your life. But it's because we're here, we're steeped in the middle of it, because these are the energies that we've always been entrained within, that it's time for us to step out and say, okay, what's really going on in the bigger picture of things? And it can only be done from that neutral state, to say all is purposeful. It's all depending on your perspective and your awareness on how willing you are to be a part of a different part of it. And to have that neutrality, that everything is purposeful, showing you how deeply, because when you get to that point where you're holding that, even the most hurtful situation in a neutral state, and to rise above and say, I absolutely forgive you unconditionally for how I felt and for what was said. I forgive you and I forgive myself. And when you get to that point, you feel your consciousness expanding. That soul in their center, it expands. And then you can allow that person to be seen for the child of God that they are, that you are. And that can only be done through neutrality. Then you can slip into that, I see what's going on. It's triggering me on this very part that I need to grow in, that I need to accept within myself. Because for many of old souls, empaths, crystalline children, for those that have been abused, dysfunctional family, I mean, it goes on and on the list that we're here healing. So, I mean, you can take any part of that and, there'll be check boxes for everybody. But regardless of whatever it is that you're healing, there'll be some aspect that will be triggering those defenses that will want to put the walls up on your bodies and push everybody away in separation. We're here to heal that through neutrality and through unity consciousness. You don't have to agree with what's going on. It doesn't have to. You can still have that acknowledgement that doesn't feel right for me, and honor your intuitiveness, honor your higher self, honor your soul, and then make that choice to go in your direction, but to hold it in neutrality, not judge it, not separate it, not push it away, not repel it. And then as you gain in this mastery, it's a huge mastery tool, and it takes practice. Mastery is practice. Practicing these neutrality tools, you find yourself growing in profound self-confidence and self-awareness to say, yeah, I can do this. Anybody can come before me and I can hold my space with God. Because there's no judgment anymore. You've completely released judgment. And you'll feel yourself. Anybody that comes across you, it's all neutral. You can make it whatever you want with source. When you're open in source and you feel your soul flowing with you, your soul will offer the highest vibration that person is able to offer. And I felt that today. I felt my soul offering the other experience, the highest vibration that I had not felt before. It was my soul, not me. I mean, it was me because I'm the vessel, but I said, okay, soul, I want you to offer the highest vibration possible. And my soul did. And I saw that in complete different perspective than I had ever seen before or experienced before, because I was constantly repelling. Profound. So this is all about clarity. So how can we gain clarity on the situations that we're co-creating? To truly honor them. We've called them in, our soul's called them in, our higher self has called them in because of even the subtlest judgments that we hold. And the subtlest judgment that we hold will be saying, you still have a judgment there. we're still going to work on this until it's completely transformed into your highest frequency, because that's mastery. You'll keep going through the infinity loop until the end of infinity. There is no end. So if we understand, yeah, that's right. Yeah, we got, like, it's an infinite path of expansiveness, and you'll feel the body within you expand, and you'll feel that graciousness of who you truly are with source. And it's not going to feel, my team said, it's going to be smoother from here on out, because you've got the skills and you're understanding it now. So now that you can say, you can't come to us and say, why does this keep happening? You know why this keeps happening. You got to be neutral with it all, and not fear it. Because that's the fear. When you judge it, you fear it. When you fear it, you judge it. And that creates separation. So we're teaching you this skill. You remember this, you know this, you hold it in your highest heart because you're a master. That releases the fear. Boom, right, gone. You're not manifesting these things in your field that are all about fear and judgment. Because it will manifest. So it's really, really important to understand that 3D is no longer, we're co-creating, we're manifesting in a fourth, fifth dimensional, and we need to be aware of how we're manifesting, because we can choose to manifest in a different way. The next card, and that's why we're coming to this point of our story shamanically, saying that we're taking the lead, that we understand that there's higher, deeper, richer, wider offerings from source, from creation, from Gaia, that are driving us into honoring and standing with a very straight spine to say, I am one with source, I have these experiences, and I can hold everything in the center of my being, and I will allow source to flow through me and offer its most maximum potential light that I can. And it will. The soul of all of you that will be felt at your heart, your high heart, and your belly will be offering these energies of unconditional universal love. You feel it. So if practicing it, invite your soul forward, invite source forward to offer the most maximum energies of flow in every situation, so that you may see it from its highest perspective in neutrality, and that you may choose what story and how you want to co-create with source. Because source will ask you, how we're co-creating together. What do you want to co-create today? Well, let's create a flower that's just growing off of a tree. Okay, you will feel this profundity of co-creation with source. And that comes through mastery. That stag is not a stag without mastery. It just isn't. That stag has been through every forest that mountain can offer. It's been up and down, backwards and sideways. It understands the process. That's why it's a leader. That's why it is adorned by its travels and its experiences and its energies of its traversing. Just look at that's mastery. And hold yourself in that power. Hold yourself in that oneness with all that comes to your path, because you are. And release the idea that it has to be seen in a certain way, and that's mastery. That'll just throw your head right for a loop. Because for eons, it will, because you're so used to being mind controlled. Your mind is the ego, the lower mind is the ego, and that's how we operate 90% of our day. For those that are awake, probably it's a bit higher, but for those that are awake, we still, when we're around people or situations that are uncomfortable or are new, that ego mind still goes, because it's safety. It's a safety mechanism. But we have to entrain ourselves into a new way of behaving and becoming. We just do. We will continue to co-create in a way that is, it's floppy, it's sloppy, and it will be of detriment to either party, because there's still judgments there. And we're going to practice it, so we're going to go through that floppy stage. But we'll get to this point where I can see you, and you'll get to the practice where everything that comes to you will be completely neutral. You'll see the beauty in it, of course, but it will amaze you, and it will just delight you. So, but for every situation that comes across you, even those that trigger the buttons the most, it will become less and less triggering. This is what the whole purpose of the story is about. Those triggers will be no more. It will be a beautiful part of your mastery, your adornment, because you've mastered. That trigger doesn't come from them, it comes from you. So how can we see everything as a neutral adornment And then we get to choose from our heart and from source to say, I'm opening the playing field, source, are you ready? It's not just going to be from the individuation of me. It's going to be from the entire universe. Are you ready? And source will be right there. The second you open your mouth, your intention, and that situation will be forever changed. And if you practice it with pure intent, I truly, truly desire to transcend. You're talking to your cells, you're talking to the innate field, you're talking to your God consciousness field, you're talking to your bones, your brain. Everything will be on board. And this is what I wanted to create in these morning videos, so that we get used to mastering and entraining ourselves in a fifth dimensional way. Because the lower mind will want to just start keeping those judgments about every situation, which will keep us in that 3D loop of separation. And this stag is showing us that you're ready to take the lead now. You don't have to keep practicing these same cycles if you don't want to. And your team and your soul will say, have you had enough now? Have you belittled yourself because you don't think you're doing it right? Have you beaten yourself up thinking that this is all your fault? All of these things that we think about when things don't feel as if they're going our way. Those are the exact situations that our soul came to transcend, because when your soul grows into that situation from a neutral perspective, you will absolutely feel your consciousness expand. And when your consciousness expands, you're letting it go. You've released it. It becomes ever more neutral, 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 and will fade away, and you will never have experience with it because you're in such a different vibration. And you've helped the world create that neutrality of flow into a higher vibration, because there's many on our planet that feel the awakening, and that we're just looking at it from everybody's perspective of what that clarity is all about. When you have clarity, you actually feel the stories that are held way up here, but you're still here. You have a consciousness that is 14th, 15th dimensional, source dimensional, all things. You're living in this moment here from what you see and what you feel. So from those that are awakening or not yet awakened, or for those that are living in however they choose to live their lives, they're feeling the separation, they're feeling the differences of energy. They're thinking that we're just as crazy as they're, whatever the thoughts are, doesn't matter. But there's those energies of separation that we're here to transcend and bring together in oneness. So that's seeing it from the highest perspective possible, that because of our perspectives and energies and attitudes, they're already feeling those separations. So how can we heal this? How can we bring this in and close the gap? That's why we're here. And it can only be done if we're seeing everything from the same eye level of source. You still have that wisdom. It's not going anywhere, but you're offering this aspect that requires your attention and your energy. Otherwise you wouldn't have manifested it. It needs you and you need it to say goodbye and move on, to stand in your power and learn a new lesson, to practice your mastery. However, it doesn't matter. There's 100 different ways you could see it. And even it might not, you've learned the lesson, but perhaps they needed to come back and see it from you one more time, because that was that last energy offering that allowed them to truly awaken. So there's far more behind the scenes than what really goes on. But for us to see it from that most expansive point of view, and the only way we can do it if we're releasing all judgment in every way. Because we can say that we release judgment in a mental way, but for our bodies, when our bodies react, that means we haven't mastered it yet. And I can say that clearly I say it with quite blatantness, because I can feel it. I can feel everything. And so if my mind says it, then I need to practice it until my body gets the new game. That's what we're here re-entraining as higher vibrational beings. So when we're learning something and we're entraining ourselves to be fifth dimensional, it's a multidimensional perspective. It's not just saying it. We have to entrain our bodies and our minds and our innate field, our God field. We have to entrain all that we are to that fifth dimensional perspective, because the bodies will innately start putting up those blocks, which is fine, because it alerts you when there's something that's not easy. That's why we have to honor the intuition. But when we're going through situations over and over again that are those karmic lessons, and we all know what they are, because they're with those that trigger us the most, or those that we've had problems with, whether they're work people, doesn't matter. But those are the situations that we're absolutely here to say, okay, how can I relax my body? How can I move into a higher state of perspective? How can I offer my soul and source forward? How can I perceive this from the highest neutral state so that I'm offering the best of me? And I can see this as an expansive consciousness growth on my soul's part. Because if it's on my soul's part and I'm offering it in love and neutrality, unconditional acceptance because they are source, then my soul will absolutely be served. And you will have less and less of those experiences. Again, honor the intuition, honor the bodies when it's alerting you, because that's what the bodies are for. And we're not here to tell the body that it's wrong. That's not what we're saying at all. We're actually bringing greater harmonization to the heightened skills and gifts that we have. So the multidimensional bodies will tell you and alert you. What we're saying is that because these are new learnings and teachings and entrainments into fifth dimensional frequencies of allowance and acceptance, we as humans have never had that. That's why we've had separation. So we say this with great honor. We say this with great expansiveness for each and every one to discern for themselves what stage of mastery they're at and where they hold that within. Because if you don't hold any judgments and you're not having any issues, you're probably not watching to this video, But for those that are continually coming against those triggering experiences or negative thought forms and all of those things that we're healing and we're releasing, then these are the gifts and the skills that your bodies will alert you to. Something's wrong. You're co-creating at a subtle level. It's continuing on a cycle that's not being healed. How can we look at it in a new way? And that's why we're offering this. Because neutrality will allow you that higher perspective to step up to the fifth and heal it, transcend it. Whether it's negative thought patterns, narcissism, abuse, dysfunction, relationships that trigger, whatever it might be. So we're having to look at it so that we are releasing the judgment, because the judgment continues the cycle. Fear continues the cycle. And this is why we say with this beautiful little skunk is to know your worth. And we see this is so beautiful. This skunk, this huge skunk is on this tiny little daisy. And the skunk and the daisy is just known for joy and happiness. And this skunk, it got no problem with being on a daisy, it's going about his business. And that's the knowing your worth and the perspectives that we hold about certain animals and people. I mean, yes, they stink, and we all smell them on the side of the road and things like that when they haven't been quick enough to get off the road, and however they smell. But we smell them all the time out here in the country. They're beautiful, gorgeous animals, and they don't mean anyone any harm. They're beautiful, and they've got their own way about moving about life, and they just want their snacks, and they get into the garbage, and they get into anything they can eat. And it just walks about life saying, yeah, this is who I am. I got it. I own it. I don't care what you think about me. And that's that neutrality space. I don't hold a judgment against you. I don't care what you think about me. And it's sitting on its little daisy here. I got it's on top of the world. That's so funny. But this is what we're owning now. We're owning the fact that, we have been every aspect of what we've judged. And this is this is why it's so beautiful. When we can see it from this perspective, that anything that we're having issues with that we've thought of, okay, that's triggering me. Why is it triggering you? Because you're in the middle of it. But if we can own it in that respect and say, okay, I'm going to be neutral with this now. It's not going to trigger me anymore. And it takes that. It really does. That's how you gain your empowerment, because we've been so shut off emotionally. We've been entrained to accept every societal, judgment and rule that we've ever had placed. And we're learning to know who we are now and to honor it. To say, yeah, I've been all parts of this. There's no separation. I'm just going to sit on here and have a nice little nap. But that's how we can be with life. Why can't we? Yeah, I'm every part of this journey. I'm not gonna deny it. I'm not gonna push it away. This is who I am, and I can handle it. I've got all the skills. I've got the reserves. I've got source with me. I'm gonna open up my heart. I'm gonna flow. I trust my intuition. I trust my wisdoms. What is this telling me? What is this showing me? Why am I feeling that trigger? And you allow yourself to come forward in your highest knowing to say, this is why I feel this, and honor it. I say, I feel this because it made me feel less than. Okay, well, how can I feel more than just within me? And then you get to say, okay, well, these situations keep happening again and again and again. So right now I'm feeling really good about myself, and I know that I don't need that anymore. And you can just stand in your truth and say, these conversations and these experiences keep going around on the same cycle, and I choose to get off the merry-go-round with you. I don't want to play this game with you anymore, because you're knowing your worth. You don't feel comfortable doing that anymore. And you have the right to say that, standing in your own power, to say that this doesn't fit with me anymore. I don't want to be a part of this game. And you can choose to leave and go on another flower. But you're not pushing it away, right? You're not judging it. You're not repelling it. You're going to say, okay, that's your choice. That's fine. I accept you and I honor you as God. You're God. I don't agree with what you're doing. It makes me feel sad and makes me feel hurt. But I choose to get on a different flower now, and I choose to take my own path of a higher frequency because it feels good for me to be in compassion and love. And you can state yourself with kindness and with power, and you can own your voice, own who you are, and say, these are my experiences. We've so many experiences I've learned from. I'm so grateful for you for teaching me this. Because if I hadn't had this experience with you, I wouldn't have been able to say and have the power now that I'm saying that I can walk away. So our soul and our higher self will call in all of those experiences that we're here and we're here to learn. And so this one, this is the Mayan book. And this card, this is, this one is number 10. 10 is one of my favorite numbers. And this is the light language, number 10, the Mayan. And it's about manifestation. It's about intention, motivation, your true identity, the foundation of the essence of self aligned with manifestation. And so this is perfect because, what are we aligned with? When you're aligned with that neutrality, that means anything and everything can happen. And this is where we're taking the human experience out to the farthest expanses of the universe. Because we're taking what was the lower mindset that had to feel it was defensive in every situation, and the body was feeling it, the mind was feeling it, you were shutting down because you're so exhausted, and it goes on and on and on. But it doesn't have to be. Now we're saying that we can align with our soul's essence, and we can offer the open vessel that we are, and we can absolutely see the infinite potentiality of all that is. And that's how we manifest. That's how we manifest the source. Because the incredible experience that I had today, the Father was coming through and saying, are you going to let us do our job, and just flow? You're blocking so much manifestation because you're just shutting down like this, shutting down, blocking it off. I was like, wait, see, you can see the symbolism. Wait, stop. Instead of opening it up and saying, all right, let's do this. And so this is what the universe wants us to know. What are you aligned with? Are you aligned with that beautiful flow, that infinity? It just keeps going in and out, every all over your fields, everywhere. Are you aligned with? I'm aligned with love and openness. I can see everything. You can be in 100% love. You can feel that vibration of love, because the more you do this, the more vibration of love you'll be in, because you're not going to be defensive about everything. Because that's what we've been trained ourselves. So you can be in the vibration of love, and you can see things and perceive things from neutrality. So you're a multidimensional being. You'll get this because you'll feel into it. I can feel absolutely loving, and I can open my heart and just be neutral. You still feel absolutely loving because that love opens up that field, right? But you can perceive it. It's how you perceive, because your perceptions create your reality and what you're manifesting. So the manifesting is the passkey to your true identity. What are you manifesting? Because anything you're manifesting shows you the gate to who you are. So if you're manifesting things that keep triggering you, that's your gateway. So this is the gateway. Are you blocking it, or are you allowing it? The mysteries of manifestations live through you. So how may we open up to be our own key? We are the key. We are our own mysteries. We are our own We have all the wisdoms and informations that allow us to step beyond and over anything that we manifest. We absolutely do. And so what belief systems, what ideologies, what limitations, what are we holding within who we are to say, well, I'm going to block that. That doesn't feel good to me right now. Well, why? You're an infinite being of light. Open it up. So it's about deconstructing and taking the blindfolds off and allowing all that you are to be infinite, open, and that open space with source, because source will bring you the most magnificent manifestations. Absolutely, make no mistake about that. They're just waiting for miracles to live through you. So how are we limiting and blocking things? So that's powerful. That's number 10. And this one is measure. We talked about measure the other day in our class, about equal measure. We see this is the 4 dots, the light language of 4 dots. And this is the equal measure. How are we flowing? This is the infinity, the rhythm of life going in and out and in and out. It's equal measure. It's the flow of energy. What's your rhythm? What's your measure? Are we giving? Are we taking? And how, my experience is it's been, how many are taking and how many are taking, how many are taking. And then it gets disjointed and uneven and imbalanced. And that's not fun anymore because nobody's receiving. The person that's doing all the giving is not receiving. That's when you have to that's when you have to say, stand in your power and speak with kindness and oneness and say, okay, well, that's your game, but I choose to not play that game anymore. I'm exhausted and I'm depleted. And, that's not fun for me. I choose to be in relationships that are soul nourishing, that are giving and taking, and that are balanced. And so in alignment with the natural cycles, there is a sacred give and take. The great mystery is being revealed to you. There's order, there's definition, there's discrimination, there's the natural cycle and the meaningful alignment. There's timing, there's organization, and this allows you to understand that you are your own troubleshooter. So what in your measure of energy, because it's all sound, right? It's all movement. So what is imbalanced? You're your greatest troubleshooter. Where can you find greater oneness and similitude? Similitude is your oneness of flow. Now is the time to focus and connect tangibly with the undefined. So what has been so overdefined and what has been so constructed, and how can you open it up to the infinite? So when you're moving about your day, you're entangling with anybody that you can entangle with, how can you open it up to the infinite? Why does it have to be so defined all the time? So what I practiced today was that a few people that were in front of me, I offered to them, my best friend. You are my best friend. How can I feel with you as a best friend? Opening up that potential as open and offering great love and offering great friendship and offering great oneness. And it just shifts the perspective. Infinite friends, infinite family. We are source family. We're all one. It says, so another one of this is, you are the architect who manifests your dreams. So this is all taking your manifestations to a new level. Open the door and call forth your sacred 4. You're being brought to a new meaningful alignment. You're being brought into a greater healing cycle of your own life. So you're stepping it up a level. Because you were seeing things from here. By the time you finish this video, you're now feeling and absorbing and taking on the energies and the codes of here. You can direct all that you are within to see it from here and say, how can I be a better flow and better opening into my own manifestation, and how much I've constructed around limiting beliefs of who I am as a manifester. I'm infinite. I'm going to open this up, and source is with me. Absolutely. And this is why we get to this. I think these two go together. I'm going to read these two together because this is how it's coming to me. Is when we allow ourselves to be neutral, because that neutrality opens up that sacral, and that sacral is all where the passion exists with Source Creator. And so that passion that we're igniting is our creative passion to be and do and see and experience and explore and express all things without limitation or construct. This is the fire within that sacral chakra that's been constantly covered. It's been constantly blocked off, constantly blocked, because of our beliefs, our attitudes, our because of the myriad eons of Akash that we've experienced, that we've felt as if we were the, the one being pulled the strings. That's how we felt. That's how we've experienced, truly, really, we've experienced that. But now we're being offered, you have wings. There is absolutely nothing holding you back other than what you think your path and who you are is defined by. That's it. There's nothing holding you back. These can be the strings of your experiences, and they can honor you, and you can serve them, and that you can have them adorn your story of who you are, and honor that. Honor all of your pains and honor your past experiences, because that allows you to spread your wings and truly know who you are and create from this passionate perspective that is unlimited, that is this free-flowing sacred fool that is ready to step out, naked and all. We don't need anything to define us. We are sovereign beings that are free. And this is what this jouster hat really exemplifies in the story, is that it's supposed to be playful. We're supposed to come to the table and play. We're not meant to be on strings and be led around in subjugation in every way. We're meant to fly. We're meant to express our passions and our creativity. How beautiful is that? So thank you, dear lighted ones. And that's been a beautiful new moon recording. So we thank you for connecting with us and being a part of our very special new moon. Set your intentions to call in the 100 healers to assist you with any type of healing that your soul and your bodies may require. Set the intention to release what no longer serves and open up to the fullness of all that you are as source. And allow yourself to perceive the fluidity of who you are, the dynamic being of holy light, releasing all judgment and all separation, allowing yourself to be held within that beautiful sacred belly that is source. And so we thank you. Namaste.